Hello everyone, let us continue our discussion about just the basics of dermatology, right? So I hope the previous discussion was helpful, so it's going to be a continuation to that, and today we will be learning about the basement membranes, alright, and the hypodermis and dermis and the pathologies related to that, alright. So first of all, let us just discuss about the basement membrane and its all the components about it, alright. So first of all, let me just take you to the diagram, so and then we can just start talking about individual aspects, okay, and later there are few questions for you waiting. So alright, so let us begin in the first place. So as you can see right in this diagram right here, so this part is all the epidermal part, right, okay, and this is the dermis part, okay, alright. And in the epidermis, right, we have the keratinocytes. As you guys remember from our discussion previously, there are keratinocytes, right, and this is the base, the base of the epidermis, okay. I hope you have revised the whole thing in the previous lecture as well, okay. And once we are done with the basics of dermatology, yes, at the very end I have planned to do a complete revision of the whole session, so that all the important points we can quickly revise in just a matter of 10 to 15 minutes. Alright, so let us just start with this. As you can see this part, this is basal keratinocyte, alright, this is the basal keratinocyte, okay. And in the keratinocyte we can see these structures, right. So these are the hemidesmosomes, okay, these are hemidesmosomes, okay, and in the hemidesmosomes are connected inside the basal keratinocyte by keratin intermediate filament, okay, alright. There is intermediate filament holding the hemidesmosomes in the keratinocyte, and below the hemidesmosome, as you can see that this is being connected to the lamina densa, okay, alright. So this is connected to the lamina densa, and there's one more structure connecting it, okay. That is one of the thing. And inside the hemidesmosome you can see there is this sort of structure. Actually this is not like a very, this is just a schematic diagram of it, okay, so that whatever points are there, we get it very clear, okay. And let us just see that inside the hemidesmosome we have BP1, that is the Bullous Pemphigoid antigen 1, okay. And as you can see, I'll just zoom into the diagram, and there is one more of this structure, the blue line which is there, which is coming out of the hemidesmosome, okay. This also is BP2, that is Bullous Pemphigoid 2 antigen, okay. And the BP1 is 230 and BP2 is BP180, okay. So this is something you have to remember. So how we can remember is BP1 is 230, BP2 is 180. So 1 is higher, 2 is lower in number, okay. And let us move on to the next layer, okay. So we just done with the keratinocyte, okay, and over here we have the laminas, okay. So inside this we have, inside the lamina, right, there are two layers in it, okay. So first is lamina lucida and lamina densa, okay, lamina lucida, lamina densa, okay. And these lamina densa, yes, as we just discussed, the BP2 antigen, right, connect the lamina densa, okay, alright, through the hemidesmosome, alright. So if I ask you a question that BP1 or BP2, which is a part of hemidesmosome, alright, so the answer is going to be that BP1 lies inside the hemidesmosome, okay. So that is the reason I made this like this, that it is totally inside the hemidesmosome, and the BP2 antigen which is there, right, it is projecting outwards through the lamina lucida and it connects the lamina densa, okay. So we're done with the two upper parts, that is the keratinocytes and its contents, and we are done with just the lamina part, alright. So lamina lucida and lamina densa, lamina lucida, lamina densa and keratinocyte, these parts are done, okay. And we go on to the basal part, right. So over here we have the whole dermis thing, right. Upper part is the epidermis and we have the dermis, right. So okay, and if you see closely, like the lamina densa, this part is been connected through some yellow structures, right. So yellow structures, let's just call them yellow structures, right. So these are the anchoring fibril thing, okay, alright. So anchoring fibril collagen, yes, and we will talk about the type of collagen and everything related to that, okay, alright. So these are the anchoring fibers, okay. And if you see closely that even the anchoring fibers are connected to a blue structure, alright. This blue structure is called as anchoring plug, alright, okay. So I hope I'm very clear. We will discuss the whole thing again just to get the format right, okay, in this, alright, fine, cool. So this and these are the anchoring plugs we see, okay. And to what is all these being connected? That is the dermal tissue. I hope you, okay, alright. So this is the dermal tissue. Okay, and fine. So let me just do a quick revision of the whole thing. Okay, and you guys can see the whole diagram at one stretch. So what are we reading? We are reading the basal the basement membrane. Okay, all right, the basement membrane we are reading. The first cell is a basal keratinocyte. Okay, we are using the word basal keratinocyte, and in the basal keratinocyte we have hemidesmosomes. Hemidesmosomes are connected by intermediate filament. Okay, and the hemidesmosome has the BP1 antigen, and the BP1 antigen lies inside it. Okay, and the hemidesmosomes are been connected to the lamina densa by lamina lucida and the BP2 antigen. Okay, and the BP2 antigen is at the the BP2 antigen is BP180 and BP1 is BP230. Okay, and if we go just down, yes, so the lamina densa is been connected to the dermis by a yellow structure, if you can see. Yes, so that yellow structure is anchoring fibrils. Okay, and even the yellow structure is connected to some blue dots. Okay, and these blue dots we call them as anchoring plugs. Okay, so I hope this diagram is clear. Okay, and we will go through this diagram probably 3 more times. Okay, and in the next slide I'm going to ask you questions what part is connecting the two structures. Okay, all right, for example, I'll just give you first example, that is what are the fibers inside the keratinocyte. Okay, all right, that is one question that it is basically waiting for us. Okay, all right, so let us just go on to the next part, right? So what is the reason? Yes, what is the reason we are reading about this topic so extensively is because of this BP1 and BP2 antigens. Okay, so in the pemphigus group of diseases, what happens is there are antibodies made against these two antigens. Okay, so whenever we hear the word pemphigus, so we should not this diagram should come in your minds just right away, that okay, fine, I know this diagram, I know where exactly the antibody is being made of. Okay, all right, so let us just discuss which antibodies are made. Okay, so let us just go ahead with it. All right, let me just take this one. Okay, so in Bullous Pemphigoid, right, in Bullous Pemphigoid, what are the IgG antibodies are against BP1 and 2? BP1 and 2. Okay, but it is more in BP2 than 1. Okay, all right, fine. And in the cicatricial pemphigoid, so in that is CP, we have BP2, and in the linear IgA disease, that is LAD, we call it is also BP2. The antibodies are against BP2. Okay, all right, so the next one, okay, so if you can see, most of the answers are just BP2. Okay, the next one is epidermal bullosa dystrophica. Okay, so what happens in this is, okay, in this there is absence of collagen type 7. Okay, so this collagen topic is still we have yet to do. We'll do it in a while. Okay, so absent collagen 7 since birth. Okay, all right, so this is the epidermal bullosa dystrophica. Okay, so what are the functions you think of basement membrane is? Yeah, so first of all, it provides adhesion, right, and it provides for connectivity. Okay, that is one thing, and it also provides signals, okay, to the next layer. Okay, fine, so adhesion and signaling would be the answer. Adhesion and signaling. Okay, so the weakest part, we'll take this one in a while. The weakest part, what do you think is the weakest part, right? So let me just go to this part. Okay, yes, I know the answer is written on top, but still, yes, what is the weakest part? Tell me. Do you think the hemidesmosomes are the weakest one, or the anchoring plaques, or the fibril? What do you think is the weakest part, right? So probably if you have seen, if you focus on this layer, right, this layer seems like it could be the weakest one, right, because not a lot of things are here. Yes, okay, only the BP2 antigen and the lamellin. All right, fine, so this is the weakest part right here, that is the lamina lucida. Okay, so let us just go right. The weakest part is lamina lucida. Okay, let us just talk about the collagen part. Okay, all right, so predominantly we have type 4 collagen in the basement membrane. Okay, cool. So we just talk about the collagen part right here. So what type of collagen is been included in the anchoring fibers, right? So the answer is type 7 collagen. Okay, type 7 collagen. All right, fine. So in anchoring plaques, we have type 4 collagen. Okay, all right. So these two things we have to remember. Okay, so anchoring the fibers, we have type 7, and the plaques we have type 4. Okay, so there is a dispute like which type of collagen is there in anchoring fibers. Okay, so either it is 7 or either it is 8. So I will show you in the coming slides that it is type 7 is the answer to be chosen. Okay, anchoring fibers, type 7 collagen. Okay, fine. So let us go on to the question answer part. Okay, all right. So I hope that was very clean understanding, right, of the whole basement membrane. Okay, we'll do this, we'll go back to the diagram once again. Okay, fine. So let us just start to, yeah, so this is your part, right? This is your part. I've done my part. Okay, and the question is that which fiber it connects keratin intermediate filament and dermis? Tell me, keratin intermediate filaments and the dermis are been connected by what? Yes, so the answer is the hemidesmosomes, right? Okay, this is by hemidesmosomes. Yes, so and hemidesmosomes are formed by what? This is BP1 and this is BP2. Okay, all right. We know BP1 are the one which are inside the hemidesmosome, and BP2 are the one which are connecting through the lamina lucida and lamina. It connects the lamina densa. Okay, all right, fine. The next one is who contains lamellin. The next question is that who contains lamellin? Tell me, is it lamina densa or is it lamina lucida? Right, the answer is lamina lucida. Okay. Okay, fine. The next one, which is connecting the anchoring fibers to the dermal connective tissue. What do you think it is? The anchoring fibers, the thing in the yellow structures, and dermal connective tissue was the pink structure at the very bottom, right? So these were what? This was lamina densa was doing it, right? Lamina densa was doing it. Okay, the next one is what part is made up of type 7 collagen. Okay, type 7 collagen, we discussed this thing, right? So it is the anchoring fibers. Okay, anchoring fibers or anchoring fibrils, both we can say. Okay, fine. And what part is type 4 collagen? Yes, that is the anchoring plugs, the blue structures. All right, anchoring plugs. Okay, fine. So concluding the collagen topic, yes. So which is the collagen used in anchoring fibrils, right? So I have given a reference from the Fitzpatrick textbook of dermatology. Yes, so even you guys can go check this page out in the version that I have. This is page number 670. You can see, and in figure number 63.4 over here we can clearly see that it is the anchoring fibril collagen has type 7. Okay, all right. So the doubt is clear once and for all. Okay, I have given you a reference from the standard textbook as well. Okay, all right. So we are done with the whole epidermis part. We discussed it extensively. Okay, and each component was discussed pretty well. So I hope you like that. Yes. So in the next part, what are we gonna do is we're gonna discuss the dermis. All right, so let us just start the dermis part. Okay, so I hope you guys have a clear orientation of where we are standing right now. Epidermis, dermis, hypodermis. So epidermis is done, complete done. Okay, all right, so we start with the dermis thing, right? So I hope even before we discuss the cells which are there in dermis, yes, what are the constituents of dermis, yes, and the basic functions of it, but we will go in extreme detail. Okay, fine. So let us just start. If you guys remember the examples I gave over here, right? Something was from the top, from the bottom. Yes, so that example is gonna come again. So dermis has two components. Yes, so anybody remember the component? So the component was the papillary dermis and the reticular dermis. Okay, so let us just write that down. The papillary dermis the papillary dermis and the reticular dermis. Okay, alright, so these are the two things, yes, and the reticular dermis is the 90%, the dermis is constituted 90% by reticular and 10% by the papillary part, okay. So what is the papillary, what is reticular? Let's just dive into this diagram, okay. So the papillary ones is the one at the top part, yes, and this is the reticular layer of the dermis, okay, alright, yeah, not the rete regis and papillary ones, okay, that is different, this is different, okay, alright. So we're done with just the introduction part of the dermis, okay. So let us just go on with the components, okay. So what components are there in this, okay. The first one, the second one you will answer me, okay, I will write the first one, alright. So the first one is the fibroblast. What is the next one? Okay, if you can answer this question, it means that you know the layers very well, okay, so you have done your part, okay. If not, it's fine, I will give you the answer, and when we do the revision, at that time you should able to answer the question. So the next one, okay, this is the one that you are gonna answer for me, alright. So which cell is present in the stratum spinosum? Okay, so what is the answer? So I hope there are some bells ringing in your mind. Yeah, there was only one cell, right? Okay, that was APC. Okay, so if you still didn't get it, do you get it now? It was an APC. APC are the antigen presenting cells. Okay, so the answer is the Langerhans cell, right? Langerhans cell. Let us just write that. Okay, alright, so that was the Langerhans cell, okay. Coming on to the next one, that is the connective tissues, right, which are present in the dermis. So obviously we have the collagen, yes, and even here we have to remember which type of collagen that is coming ahead, and we have elastin, okay. So these are the two things, right, we want the most in our skin, right. So but the thing about aging is that these are the two components which are reduced with aging, okay. So we have to take care of our skin, right, and we have to keep it nice tight. Okay, fine. So the next one is the ground substance, right. So this part is important as compared why it has links to biochemistry. Okay, fine. So the two substances that we have is over here is hyaluronic acid and heparin sulfate. So this one thing is being abused by all the, I would say, companies, right. Hyaluronic acid, they just market this thing too much, yes. So all the companies, right, even from the luxury companies till the very bottom, this word we listen all the time, hyaluronic acid, and it works, definitely it works, okay. And but the concentration is important, the way we apply it, that is important. And okay, fine, so we'll talk about this in a while. So let us just continue with the ground substances. That is, there are two things, right, the hyaluronic acid and the heparin sulfate. But what are these? If you did your biochemistry right, the answer is these are the glucose aminoglycans, right. Let me just write that down. These are the glucose Alright, okay, so these are the gags, right? Two components are there is the hyaluronic acid and the heparin sulfate. Okay, fine. So the fibroblast cell, right? This cell is very important here. Alright, so this is the one who is majorly making all the collagen fibers, and the matrix is being produced by which cell? Fibroblast. Okay, fine. So this point is done. This is the major cell for producing extracellular matrix and the collagen fibers. Okay, so if we want to have a better collagen and a better skin tightening, so fibroblast is a cell that we would like to stimulate. Alright, fine. The next part is about the dermis, that it has three more components. Yes, so definitely we have the whole dermis thing is there. So but three more things, that is, these are the hair, nails, yes, and the glands. Hair, nails, and glands. Hair, nails, and glands. Okay, alright, these are three appendages, right, we have in the dermis. Okay, alright, fine. The next one is the collagen that we just spoke about, that which type of collagen is there. I hope you guys remember, in the basement membrane, the anchoring fibers, yes, the anchoring fibrils were type 7, okay, and the anchoring plaques were type 4. Okay, all right. So whenever we just hear some word collagen, we should just close our eyes and take a thought. We start making interconnections in the brain, right? So okay, fine. We where did we hear about this word? Okay, fine. As basic as collagen. In the previous one, we should do this with all the 19 subjects, right? Because if we do this, that at the very end, it is very easy to assimilate all the knowledge, right? Just before the exams and just before we are preparing for anything, right? So if we have these interconnections in our brain, it is almost impossible to forget things, right? And a lot of our practices and our performance as a doctor is depend on how much we can connect things, right? So 1 + 1 is 2, but usually that is not the case, right? Okay, fine. Continuing that, so which type of collagen is there? Is type 1 collagen more than type 3? Okay, we are talking about dermis. Okay, type 1 collagen is more than type 3. Okay, fine. So with this we end the whole dermis component. Yes, so the next topic is going to be hypodermis, which we will continue in a while.